Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hello, it's Reading with Mimi.
Reading with Mimi and Henry and Sam.
And friends. Yeah.
Today's book is called Chrysanthemum. Can you predict what this book will be about?
Flowers.
Go ahead, I'll wait.
Flowers.
Make your prediction.
Probably flowers.
That's okay. Did this give you a clue? Look what I'm holding in front of my face.
Wait, Mimi, are you going to say hi to all of our other friends?
Yes, I am. Did you predict it was about flowers?
Yeah.
Sammy predicted it was about flowers. Good prediction, Sammy.
I didn't really predict much flowers. I just predicted like 8 kind of flowers.
Sure. So Mimi's holding up some flower pots that I brought into the room with me. Mimi loves flowers, so I'm always buying flowers. And I even make flowers. So I have this whole plate filled with flowers that I've been making. You can see there's one I'm wearing. That's one of the flowers that I make. So, and look, I even pinned a chrysanthemum pin onto the book. Okay, who should we say hi to today? Who's out there?
How about all the 10 people?
Let's say hi to everybody.
Other viewers.
First, I say hi to Sam and Henry. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Samantha and Benny. I talked to your grandma on the phone today. Hi, Zara and Oliver and Iris. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi, Hannah and Noah. I hear you were down the street today with your grandma and she made you some cookies. Hi, Kayla and your little class. Hi, boys and girls. Are you being good listeners?
No.
Hi, Matea. Hi, Madeline. Hey, Zachary, Aria, and Colin. Did I say hi to everybody?
I think so, but also say hi to probably the viewers that
Let's get started. Chrysanthemum by Kevin Henkes.
Sometimes I show your videos to Lippy.
This is a very different kind of book. So you predicted it was about flowers, but any other predictions?
It's about a person and a flower. I can see a person.
Let's find out if Sammy is correct. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. So I'm going to hold it up so you can see the pictures and I'll read.
Wait a second. Is that a mouse?
She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. Is that what your parents think about you?
Maybe, I don't know if I would answer the questions because it seems like I already know.
Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. What's your name? Call it out loud right now.
Sam.
Go ahead. Everybody call it out.
But, you know, everyone knows that everyone is perfectly imperfect.
That's right.
Yeah, my name's Henry.
I heard everybody's name. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew. And when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. How do you feel about your name? Whisper to someone next to you.
I feel like my name should not be Sam, but I feel like it should be Ham.
Yeah, but
She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written with ink on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum.
I love all. Ooh.
Maybe I do it for like now. I might not answer your questions because I think I know this book.
Okay, you can just enjoy the story. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. Uh-oh, make your prediction. What's going to happen now?
This guy's
Do you want me to spoil it or no?
Okay, you had time to make a prediction to somebody.
I'm not going to spoil it.
On her first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress. See, it's a yellow dress. And her brightest smile. She ran all the way. Hooray, said Chrysanthemum. School. Is she happy about going to school?
Yeah, and I'm not really happy when
But when Mrs. Chud took roll call Everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name.
Oh yeah, I read this.
That's not very nice. Why did they giggle? Henry, why did they giggle when they heard her name?
Because they thought it was a weird name, and I'm not going to spoil what happened.
It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on your name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. You're named after a flower.
Isn't that nice?
Chrysanthemum wilted. Let me see you wilt.
I don't know what that means.
So it kind of means to just kind of bend down and be sad. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chudd that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the alphabet, Victoria explained. Thank you for sharing with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chudd. Now you may put your head down. Why did the teacher tell her to put her head down?
Actually, 14 is the half.
Is she being punished?
I think.
Yeah, because it wasn't very nice what she
But
said.
I do want to say, remember, she has 13 letters, just one more away, and then it will be half of the
Well,
alphabet.
13's actually half hen because there's 26 letters, sweetie.
I know 26, so 10.
If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, Victoria said, as the students lined up to go home. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Did you ever wish you could change your name?
To ham?
Take a minute. Take a minute. Whisper to someone next to you. If you could, what would you change your name to?
I don't really want to change my name, but
Hey,
if I had to change it, I
We're
would change
supposed
it
to be
to
apart.
pizza.
Yeah, but we're partners.
I would change my name to pizza.
Welcome home, cried her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag, and I'm named after a flower. Oh, pish, said her mother. Your name is beautiful, and precious, and priceless, and fascinating, and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect, said her father. How did her parents react differently than her classmates? Go ahead, whisper to someone next to you the difference in how her parents was.
Parents are always nicer than anyone you'll ever
Yeah,
meet.
the parents love
Except for
her.
grandparents.
Okay. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner. Guess what that was?
What?
Macaroni and cheese with ketchup, and an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. That's a game. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was an extremely pleasant dream. Have you ever had an extremely pleasant dream?
No
all my
idea, but I
dreams
don't
turn
dream in my
bad.
life really anymore.
The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. That's another word for like a dress. She walked to school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. Why do you think she's walking to school so slowly?
I don't really
Miserable.
She even looks like a fat flower, said Victoria, as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, Rita said, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. Let me see you wilt. Oh, look, Mimi's wilting. Yeah, bending over. Oh, so sad. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. What's going to happen next?
I already know what happened. Do you want me to tell you?
I think they're gonna.
The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, a chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things.
Can I spoil what
Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chudd. Now put your head down. Hey, that sounds familiar. Didn't that happen before? No, Henry, we're not going to spoil anything, honey. I just not could believe your name, Victoria said, as the students lined up to go home. Neither can I thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Oh, look at her face. She looks so sad. What's going to happen now? Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. They said I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me. Oh, pish, said her mother. They're just jealous. And envious, and begrudging, and discontented, and jaundiced, said her father. What do all those big words mean? What do they mean? Sammy, what does that mean, begrudging? Henry, what does that mean, discontented?
Why do you always see for the hard grammar?
Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours, said her mother. After all, it's absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better. What does that mean, a trifle?
A little.
Thank you, Henry, a little. Named after her best favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting. And another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. Is there a game? Is there a game you play with your family?
Yeah, we
Minecraft.
play Monopoly and we eat pizza.
Let's see how she feels that night. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that she really was a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. What does that mean, scrawny?
No, not idea.
Little and skinny. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. Can I hold up that umbrella? I need it for the story now. I knew I had it here for a minute. I'll show you. This is going to be in the story now. Okay, Sam, you can hold it now. I wanted to show the kids.
I know.
Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Do you ever do that? Do you ever put something special in your pockets? I'll wait. Whisper to the person next to you. What do you like to put in your pockets?
No, but
Sam, what do you put in your pockets?
Popcorn.
Yeah, Sam put popcorn in. Henry, what do you put in your pockets?
I don't put anything, but I know.
Okay.
What's gonna happen is in school.
Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped and stared at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. That morning, the students were introduced to Mrs. Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was like something out of a dream, as was everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Mrs. Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. Why do you think they liked her so much?
I don't know, just probably by
Mrs. Twinkle led the students in scales. Then she assigned roles for the class musical. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess. Jo was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger. And Chrysanthemum was chosen as a daisy. What's a daisy?
a flower.
That's funny. Thank you, Henry. She was chosen as a flower.
I think the daisy.
Chrysanthemum's a daisy. Chrysanthemum's a daisy. Jo, Rita, and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum,
Say a bunch, like
chrysanthemum wilted. Let me see you wilt again.
I don't know how
Oh, so you just kind of bend your head down.
like
She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely,
terrible.
yeah, dreadful. What's so humorous? Asked Mrs. Twinkle. Chrysanthemum was the answer. Her name is so long, said Jo. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. She's named after
Flower.
Thank you, Henry. She's named after a flower.
What was the teacher about to say?
My name is long, said Mrs. Twinkle. It is, said Jo. My name would scarcely fit on a name tag, said Mrs. Twinkle. It would, said Rita, pointing. And, said Mrs. Twinkle, I'm named after a flower, too. You are, said Victoria.
Wait, Twinkle is a flower?
Yes, said Mrs. Twinkle. My name is Delphinium. Delphinium Twinkle, and if my baby's a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. It's absolutely perfect. Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed, she beamed, she bloomed. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Oh, how's she feeling?
She's feeling pretty good.
Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. What does that mean, they looked at her longingly?
I don't really know.
Kind of jealous. Call me Marigold, said Joe. I'm Carnation, said Rita, pointing. My name is Lily of the Valley, said Victoria. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. Oh, let's see, at the end of the story, it says epilogue. Overall, the class musical was a huge success. Chrysanthemum was absolutely perfect as a daisy. Victoria made the only mistake. She completely forgot her lines as a dainty fairy queen. Chrysanthemum thought it was wildly funny, and she giggled throughout the entire dance of the flowers. Eventually, Mrs. Twinkle gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and of course, she named her...
Chrysanthemum.
That's right, Henry. She named her Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, I kind of think...
What did you think of that book? Was there a problem in the story?
Yeah.
And then how did the problem get resolved?
By Miss Twinkle.
Has that ever happened to you in your life? Have you ever had a problem?
I haven't really had
Turn
a
to
problem.
someone next to you and tell them a problem that you've had and who helped you to solve it. I'll wait.
My problem is that I don't have a problem.
So, in the story, she solved the problem at the end. Mrs. Twinkle really helped her with the problem. And a lot of times a teacher can help you solve your problem, or your mom or dad. So today's story was about flowers. And I'll show you, Mimi's been having fun making lots and lots of flowers. And I've made them out of little bits of fabric. You can do the same thing. If you don't have fabric, you can make them out of bits of paper. First you cut the paper or the fabric, and then you cut them into circles. And then you layer one circle on top of the other. I sew them together, but you could glue them together. So you start with a bunch of fabric, and then cut it out into round shapes. And you can make it into flowers. That would be a fun project for you. So think about something you'd like to do. You can draw some flowers, you can make some flowers, and you know I love it if you write me some sentences or a story about flowers. Well, it was great reading with you, and it was great having Sam and Henry here to join us. Let's all say goodbye to our friends.
Bye-bye. And
Bye.
I think we have some amazing responses for problems.
Love you. Love from Mimi. Bye.
Bye.